problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. No, come find me. No, come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off.
I ain't a hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Wednesday evening here on the channel, which means you just got done watching Baxter Street Boys. If you didn't, you should. They kick us off on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. We punch you right in the mouth at 9 p.m. and keep you wide awake with What Have We Learned Wednesday. If you don't know, if you weren't here with us last week, which a lot of you were, by the way, first of all, shouts to you, okay? Y'all have been absolutely just blowing the hell out of the channel. So it's been great. The support has been awesome. Keep it up. Thumbs up, all that good stuff, right? That is incredible. The more y'all do, the more we grow. We have a new addition. We're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. Excited about that, okay? So the more we grow, the more you guys got to watch. Pick and choose what you want, okay? Everyone's got different flavors. Look, if you don't know, here on this channel, guys, I don't really talk gambling. You know why? Because I'm at gambling. I'm not going to sit here and tell you who to pick and who not to pick. We tried last year. I think we were like 5-8. Guys, I had a heater of a week in week one in my own personal book, okay? An absolute flamethrower of a week. Week two, I don't want you guys losing the mortgage while I do, okay? Let me lose the mortgage. Y'all find out from smart people who are absolute sharps at it, that know their stuff. That's the Baxter Street Boys, okay? But they also have other good stuff, other fun stuff, and we got more around the corner. Like I said, we're teasing a little bit later. So, hey, everybody's got their own flavor, okay? Figure it out. Some people don't like me. That's okay. You hate watch. If you hate it, hate watch it. You're probably going to learn something anyways. Also, we're going to try a little something different at the end of the show. If you're on the Discord, okay, we have a link to the show, basically. You can hop on. It's no different than a Zoom link. If you got an iPhone, feel free. Check out the link in Discord and come join us, okay? You can hop in here and say hello, okay? Just be presentable, all right? Don't be out here wilding. You know what I mean? We got a lot of people watching. So appreciate all you guys tonight. What did we learn Wednesday? What is that all about, right? We talk about it here. We watch a lot of tape, right? I'm Mr. Film Guy. I'm self-anointed film guy, right? We watch a ton of tape. That's my whole brand. That's what we do. We watch Texas tape because we love Sark. But what have we learned Wednesday is a summation of all of that stuff, right? Like we told you last week, it is a collection of the notebook and a little bit more. And we're going to talk about South Carolina as well tonight and preview those guys because I know you guys want to know about them, right? Who they are. I know everyone expects Georgia to wipe the floor with them based off the preliminary, score predictions I've kind of seen and taken the temperature up. But let's talk about Saturday, okay? What did we learn from Saturday particularly? I thought Saturday was about two things for me. First, respect. Second, execution. Respect. I thought it was very, very clear earlier in the week, right? They talked about what was the quote? Standards don't need motivation, right? I think every year during this time of the year where they're playing cupcakes and preliminary SEC East opponents, right? When they're favored by a boatload of points, you're going to hear a lot of coach speak about, hey, standards don't need motivation, right? We have to respect the opponent across the sideline. But it was also a lot of that. And for that matter, I thought Georgia's offense and defense showed up prepared. They just didn't quite execute. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I thought there was also very, very clear that there was a lot of respect for the other coach on the other sideline, right? Which is obvious. Coach Hatcher obviously gave Coach Smart his first ever position coaching job down there at Valdosta State. It's become Jake Fromm played Little League World Series, right? It's a story that everyone's heard about at this point. So I'm not going to bang it over your head. You already know about it. Okay, Hatcher and Smart have a long history of respect of one another. I also thought Sanford had a good game plan. Nonetheless, a lot of respect going on. And I thought you saw that in the way that Georgia called the football game too. Okay, I thought I counted maybe on one hand, definitely one hand, how many shots they took in the first half. Okay, missed Jackson Meeks. We'll talk about that one. Okay, that was really the only deep shot that you really saw in the first half. Not a lot of double moves, right? Go back and watch the tape. How fast did they play? A lot of snapping the ball at 8-9 seconds when you're only up, 16-0 in the first quarter, right? Wasn't really trying to blow the doors off like you were to start the football season. If you go back and watch that one in the Dome or in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I'll call that the Dome the rest of my life. Just like you, Oakland Raiders, just like you, San Diego Chargers. Y'all ain't changing me, okay? So just like they did in the Dome, they didn't play with like a ton of pace. They did occasionally. They got Sanford with too many men on the field, all that good stuff. It happens. But I also noticed they rotated guys relatively quickly, like far before the game was out of hand. So they didn't execute, okay, but there was also in the game plan, it looked like to me that there was a lot of respect, and they called the game in such a manner. Now let's talk about the execution. You've been here on the channel. You watched it, okay? If you watched the film study, if you haven't, what surprised you're here watching this, not the film study. Normally people don't. You definitely watched the film study. Some of this right here ain't everyone's juice because they don't like to listen to me gas back for an hour. Some of y'all do. It's a little weird. Just kidding. But no, if you watch the film study we showed you, it's about execution, right? You had Ladd drop a ball that he normally catches in the end zone. Caught it last year against Vandy, right? Dunking on folks. You had, fade balls that were dropped. Bowers dropped the one that was, I wouldn't call it a drop for a normal person. He's superhuman, right? He's supposed to be the best tight end that's ever been created. He's Kyle Pitts, right? In terms of the caliber, not play style, two totally different players. You get what I'm saying. Top 5 type caliber tight end. Okay. He will reset the market for what they get in terms of draft capital, I would imagine. So he drops the ball, right? And then the next possession, you miss Jackson Meeks on a deep ball. Stetson just overthrows him. Okay. You get in the red zone and he throws the ball high on Darnell Washington. So what could have been in the first 4 possessions, 28-0, wound up being 16-0 after the first 4 possessions. Those 2 football games look totally different off of really 4 plays if you boil it down to it, right? So when you hear your coach after the football game, and we talked about this on the film study, when you hear your coach after the football game say it was a matter of today was about finding who can figuring out who can win one-on-ones, particularly out on the edge. I thought it was unfortunate that they found out that Dylan Bell can do that, but they didn't really have a time or a chance to blow the game out and blow the doors off enough to where everybody got a chance to eat, right? We didn't see a Dominic Blaylock like ripper, right? We didn't get to see the offense really explode because they didn't get to operate the offense once Carson Beck got in the football game, right? It was methodical, and Stetson Bennett's in the game in the middle of the third quarter. Whereas last year against UAB, Stetson Bennett is 275 yards in the first quarter. A little bit different of a football game, a little bit different of execution. And that's all it was on Saturday. I think that's what we learned. It wasn't a matter of like, hey, they came out flat. Hey, the boys didn't care. The boys didn't show up. It wasn't none of that. When I watched them on tape, I saw a prepared football team. I saw a football team that didn't catch a few footballs that they need to start catching, right? And I think that they got their message well received this week based off what I was told. So, this week was, hey, get back to it. And we got to figure out who we are. Right, we did not so happy with the performance. The players more so than even the coaching staff. Coaching staff is obviously hot about it, but the players. This is a very player-led football program. Will be, I think, as long as Kirby Smart is here the University of Georgia. Right, as long as he is there, that will be a player-led football team. Okay, the skull sessions are important. They will be important the remainder of the time. So, they'll get it fixed. I figured that that was kind of what we'd lead in terms of what we learned. Respect execution. I think anytime you see Sanford on the schedule, just take the under and fade Georgia because the line's going to be insane and they're not going to hang up 52 on Hatcher. I don't think so moving forward. So, but I don't know. They're probably not going to be on the schedule moving on. I'm not like future schedule guy. I think we found that out on the timeline today if you were paying attention. All right. What else did we learn today? Now, I know a lot of people, myself included, so hell, I feel like from the end of the draft until about a week ago, all anyone talked about was how much Georgia lost, right? How much Georgia lost, particularly defensively. It's hard not to, right? And I'll tell you this much, what I've learned through 2 weeks now of watching Georgia is that there's still one thing in common between last year's defense and this year's defense. I can't stop watching them. I cannot stop watching that defense on tape. They flash just as much, if not more, because they're in bad positions and they have to just recover through God-given athleticism and traits. They flash as much, if not more, than that defense did last year through 2 games. I know the opponents. I get it. But one of them was a Power 5 opponent, okay, that is going to – we'll find out really who Oregon is this weekend. They host BYU. So we'll find out about that football team, okay, very much so, and what that 46-point victory meant. But they dominated that football game, right? So, I mean, when I watched them on tape last year, it was so many times where I just was flabbergasted, and all that I was left to say was, what the just happened? How did that football player do that? How did Nakobe Dean know that was going to happen? I say the same thing about Jamon Dumas-Johnson right now. If you watched our film study yesterday on Patreon, he's calling out plays, dog. Calling out plays. Moves first. Like very patient when he's supposed to be. Knows the back's going to cut before the back knows he's going to cut. The same stuff that Nakobe was great for. Same stuff Nakobe's going to have, multiple Pro Bowl years, I would imagine, once he gets comfortable up there in Philly and fully healthy. The same stuff that made 17 great, I see 10 do on tape. I can show it to you. Matter of fact, we already have. We did last night. Okay. The same stuff that made my jaw drop and say, how did Quay Walker get there? How did he get from that spot to that spot before anybody else on the field at 6'4", 235, 240 pounds? How did he do that? I say the same stuff about Smile Mondon, except Smile, maybe even freakier, honestly. And not like height, weight, speed freakier. It's hard to get freakier than Quay Walker. They built that joker in a lab. But in terms of what Buddy can do on the field when his body gets asked to do freaky stuff, man, absolute flabbergasting. Every time I watch two on tape, I have to sit there and go, how'd you do that? Him slipping two guys. We showed it on tape. I want to tweet it out, but they've been hassling me on this stuff. I mean, slips two guys, falling backwards, and just tackles a guy with his one arm like a lasso, okay? Just a freakazoid, okay? All this to say the other guys do the same stuff. Jalen Carter's still there, right? Jalen Carter's still in there hanging out. And then you got Malachi Starks. Malachi Starks will, by the end of the year, add an entire new element to this defense. I promise you. By the end of the year, they will be doing things with him. Actually, matter of fact, they already are right now. I watched them against Samford run more Tampa out of dime than they have in 3 years. I know it's an audio medium right now, but they got Malachi Starks in the middle of the field, and at the snap, he just bails straight to the middle of the field with his hips square to the quarterback and just looks and gets to go wherever he wants and play center field robber. Okay, the defense was created for a player like Derek Brooks in the 2000s. Well, guess what? The spread's now here, so when you do that, you need guys like Malachi Starks, and this guy's built in a lab to do that. Okay, super instinctual. And pound for pound, SI All-American in his bio, we talked about it. Pound for pound, he's like Eric Berry freaky, okay? He's like 1%. He is Nicholas Harbor freaky. And Nicholas Harbor is like 0.05% of 1%. There will be no one more than that, okay? But nonetheless, the point proven, the more and more I watch this defense, I can't stop watching them, first of all. I dedicate about 45 to an hour every single day just to turn huddle on, just to see what they're doing, just to sit through the tape and try to figure out how they're doing what they're doing. Okay. Same stuff as last year. They're dialed in. They know exactly what they don't blow assignments. They're always in the right place. They don't get picked. They don't get rubbed. Flawless. Okay. So I am enjoying watching it. You should enjoy watching it. I said this last year, and it took about week 7 before people said, holy hell, they're like historically good. Okay. Enjoy watching it. And if you enjoy watching this stuff, if you want to watch what I'm talking about and why I'm just so blown away about it, join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Brooks Austin. All right. So what else do we learn? I feel like this is just no preloaded segments. These are just literally like Brooks's thoughts, notes, and open notebooks right here. It's insane. Give me 1 second. I got to check on something, guys. I'll look at it in a second. Harrison, text me the name of the pod. Sorry, I'm going blank. I didn't write it in my notes. If you're watching right now, text me the name of the pod, all you guys. I want to get this plugged, and my brain wrote everything down pre-show except for the name of the podcast that I'm bringing on the network. That's so me. Okay, too many hits in the head. Shouts to Shorter University. 2-0. By the way, don't know what's about to happen this week. Conference starts, but shouts out to Shorter University. Wow, I take a moment. Hey, we went semi-viral this week, and I'm telling you, This week we were in Gainesville stuff, right? Last week I was in a Brookwood hat. I don't want to hear nothing from coaches that watch this stuff. I love all of y'all. We all talk. We're all boys. If you want me to wear your stuff, Trinity Lions, shouts out to you. If you want me to wear your stuff, hit me up. I'll rock it. I ain't got no problems with it. All right, let's talk about the 4Y podcast. All right, now that I finally, filibustered enough to give it to you. 4Y podcast. Look, everybody wants to do the four buddies talking about sports stuff. We told you, this network's going to continue to expand. I hammer film study. I hammer stand-up talk for an hour about Georgia football and the SEC. You get plenty of me, trust me, okay? Especially if you're on Patreon. You see me on camera every week, 5 hours, if you're paying attention, all right? You see plenty of me, okay? We hammer college football, we hammer film study, and we hammer the articles, right? We do all that here. Baxter Street Boys give you the fun, give you the fandom of Georgia football and the trolling of Twitter and the vibrance, right? The youthfulness, okay? And they give you the gambling. And Sunday afternoons, Sunday evenings, 4 Wide is going to be here on the Film Guy Network, bringing you just general NFL banter about what is going on that day, okay? So if you want to close your evening, Sunday evenings, and most of the time, I'm not going to say most of the time, a lot of the time, I ain't got shit to do on Sundays, so I might be hopping in there too. So it's kind of a chat around, hang with your boys show on Sunday evenings. It's a great place to be. I like their vibe. Give them a shot, okay? It is very much so Dan. He's been on this network before. He's very much so Dan being dad, okay? Jeremiah and Jonathan being very much so twin brothers. And then there's the oopsie of a child in Harrison that just runs the show, okay? So please give it a shot. There are guys that help this network. There are people that we believe in and that we support. So we support those who support us, right? So be there Sunday evening. They are debuting here on the network. Just try it out, man. Try it out. That's why we call it a network. I'm trying to give people a voice, all right? Trying to give people a voice. That's not just mine. I talk enough, like I said. But we're trying to give you daily content that hopefully you enjoy. And if you don't, still support it. Show up, give the thumbs up, and just be a passive teammate, right? That's okay. You ain't got to be outwardly aggressive with your disdain for stuff, you freaking intro haters. All right. Now that we got that out of the way. No, seriously, I'm happy to have those guys. They're four people that mean a lot to me, seriously. So yeah, show up, support it. All right. Yeah, plenty of what the hell moments on this defense. And a guy we didn't talk about because I'm giving him his own right now. And we've been hammering this one, okay? Because it's hard not to. He is king of flash play. Swear to God, if you know what you're looking, you don't even got to know what you're looking at. Turn the tape on. 22, Javon Bullard, bullet. A freaking bullet everywhere. Everywhere he goes, he's 5'8", 175 pounds, soaking wet, 185 pounds, soaking wet, and just does not give a damn about his body. Does not care about anything but the results and what it requires to win. That's it. And I don't know if you know my background, okay? But it's not about me, but here it is. Here's why I have a soft spot for this guy, okay? Little people that play this game, he's playing at an extremely high level. And I know he's a nickel corner. He ain't got to be 6'2", 215. I understand. But he's also undersized. Mark Webb at that position a couple years ago was 6'2", 220, or like 215, 210. Okay, big defensive back. Tyreek Stevenson, big defensive back. Javon Bullard, not that. So for him to not only start, but to ball at that position, son, a reckless abandon for his own, personal being. And that sounds crazy. It is crazy. But I love this. I said it this way in the Discord today. He is a football guy's football guy. That's what he is. Anybody who's ever had to play it that way with their freaking hair on fire or had to just win in a different route because God didn't give them enough to beat the guy in front of them that day, man, if you love those guys, if you love underdog stories, give me this guy, dude. Give me this guy. I absolutely love watching him on tape. He is absolutely batshit crazy. He is batshit crazy, and I love every freaking second of it on tape. I can't explain it to you enough. I can. Come join us, patreon.com/Brooks Austin. It's going to feel like a plug all night, but a lot of these things, I can only sit here and gallivants upon them so many times. Okay. And I can only tweet out 30-second clips so many times. Come hang out with us. I promise you, you will not regret it. Also, was doing some research on the platform today. There's like half of you jokers that watch these videos apparently that aren't even subscribed. What are you doing? Hate watching. That's what you're doing. One, hate watching. Two, come on, fam. It's one button. Just hit subscribe. You won't miss a show. I know you have to search it. And if you're searching for me, just save a step, fam. Just hit the subscribe button. Also hit that thumbs up if you're watching right now. We're just getting all the business plugs out the way. All right. Yeah, love Javon Bullard. Another guy I love. Everyone loves. Duh. He's averaging friggin' what is it? 70, 88, right? Or rather 88 receiving yards per game. It's Kenny McIntosh. And I'll tell you, there ain't going to be a football team that covers that dude out of the backfield this year. Not with the way that they are designing plays for him. I mean, they're obviously getting him ISO'd out of empty. They're emptying to, motioning to empty rather, and putting him on a linebacker quite often. They did it at Justin Flo week 1. Okay. They're obviously doing halfback angle stuff, checking him out of the backfield, just getting him easy touches as a check down threat. He's always been great at that. But the way that they are blocking on the perimeter this year, and the way that it seems like they're able to rip off 25, 30 yards every time they throw a swing route to Kenny McIntosh, and have Darnell Washington, Brock Bowers, and Ladd McConkey out blocking freaking poor souls at 5'11", 195 pounds, playing corner and defensive back and safety. Bro, I ain't saying he's going to average 90 receiving yards a game. That's not what I'm saying. But he might average 65. He might average 70. I mean, it takes 2 of those, right? Like, and when they get into tight football games, there's no stopping it. You're going to have to put 4 over 3 just to add another hat to stop that particular play. And all George is going to do is just hand him the rock inside the tackles, because he can do that stuff too. Okay. 6 is, I'm going to say he's a unicorn. Unicorns to me are Najee Harris's of the worlds, Le'Veon Bell's of the worlds in his prime, right? Cedric Baxter in 2023. Remember the name we told you here? Those are unicorns. 6'3", 6'2", 225 plus pound guys that can win out of the backfield and can win inside the tackles at that freaking size. Everybody else that can do all of the all-purpose back stuff, they all look like Will Shipley. They all look like DeAndre Swift. They all look like Kenny McIntosh. Kenny McIntosh is a thoroughbred horse. Don't get me wrong. He ain't a unicorn. But this year, that dude's going to play like a unicorn. He's going to eat inside the box, average probably 5, maybe 6 yards a carry with the combination of this offensive line. Oh, and by the way, his track record as a football player, he ain't no slouch. All right. As a career, he's been a walking first down out of the backfield as a threat, as a receiving threat. First 3 years of his career at the University of Georgia, he averaged 11 yards per catch. A walking first down. So this year he's got an uptick, 12.7 yards per catch. Yeah, and he's got an uptick in amounts of opportunities. That ain't going to stop. It ain't like they got anybody that does what Kenny does. Dejan getting close, sneaky. Okay, we'll learn that too. Didn't see that coming from the Cocoa County kid. I ain't even going to lie. When I scouted Dejan Edwards in high school, you can go back and look at it. We did a film study on it. Dude, he was thick. He was like 205, maybe 195 because he's a shorter guy. He was thick, like thick waist down, good thick, not bad thick. Okay, THICC thick, the good kind. PHAT fat, not FAT. Anyways, I didn't ever imagine he would just like get real slim like he is now, and he looks really explosive, like so explosive where they're tossing him jet sweeps. Never saw that. So that was great. That's great to see him develop as a football player and kind of trim down. Nonetheless, Kenny's a freak, and no one's going to be able to guard him out of the backfield this year. That was the point we were trying to make. That's what we learned this weekend. That's what we brought to you right now. Okay. By the way, Discord fam, the link is in the chat. You can hop up in here. We're 25 minutes in. At the end, we're gonna maybe go to 3 or 4 of you. We got our boy Trey Rob, been hanging out since before the show. He gets backstage access. He gets to see all of the inner workings. Okay, so if you want to hang out, come hang out with us. And you're like 7 seconds early. So if anything goes haywire, you get an additional 7 seconds. All right, let's talk a little bit about this South Carolina game, right? What did we learn about South Carolina this weekend? That's important, right? Here's the way I explain it. And this is the only way I can do it because I personally relate to this story. Everyone, except for me, because I am this friend, everyone has that one friend that knows. They're grown adults. They know at this point they don't do liquor. They don't do shots. They do not do liquor and they don't do shots because their body is just not built for it. They're just not made for that, right? They're just built different and in the wrong kind of way. All right. But for some reason, that joker always decides he's going full gas, full tilt shots. Every time when the boys say, we're doing shots, freaking rumple mitts, bro. That guy or girl who knows in their heart of hearts, I'm not a shots guy. I shouldn't be doing this. They do it anyways, right? And then they regret it. They don't execute. They fail to complete the mission. And then it's just a bad night. Everything goes to hell. That is South Carolina. And here's why. Dude, South Carolina threw 7 balls that averaged more than 35 yards downfield on Saturday. Attempted more. Got sacked several times trying to do so. Okay? 7 times on Saturday against Arkansas. By the way, is a 3-3-6 football team. Guys, their whole defense is we're keeping everything in front. If you go deep, you're going to have to go way deep. Okay, way deep, literally way deep. Okay, and you're going to throw into contested coverage. So the guy that you're throwing to is going to have to make a play. Well, that's exactly what happened all day. Now, they slipped a couple guys behind them. But here's the deal. South Carolina is buddy taking shots at the bar with no offensive line, none, got no protection. Okay, and a quarterback who continues to make turnover-worthy throws. Okay, turnover-worthy, put the ball at risk type of plays. Okay, of the 7 attempts that he had on Saturday, 3 of them were turnover-worthy plays. You do that against Georgia, you are going to turn over the ball. Turnover-worthy plays 9 times out of 10 against Georgia are turnovers. That's why they're a good football team. Okay, so that's a bad combo. Okay, a team that is really not, so far through 2 games, is not good at completing deep shots, but takes an awful lot of them. Okay, we'll get into some of the advanced stats in a second. Takes an awful lot of them and can't protect their quarterback. You're not a combination for deep shot football team. You're not combination for everything is underneath, which, by the way, it is. Everything is either 3.5 yards in front of the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. 65% of their attempts are that, by the way. The other 35% of the attempts are cash that joker as far as we can get it, baby. So if that's what the passing attack is, that's not going to lead well because Georgia runs really, really well and they tackle well. So screen games are tough. Underneath throws are really, really tough, right? They close space better than most. They got a lot of dudes, okay? And throwing it deep, not a good idea either. Got a lot of guys that can track it now, okay? I love Lewis Seen to death. He can't track it like Malachi can. In 3 years, 3.5 years watching Lewis Seen play, you didn't see a play like that, right? 2 different football players. Okay, bad combination here. They've allowed 35 quarterback pressures in 2 weeks. 35 quarterback pressures in 2 weeks. They've given up 8 sacks. I know for if you're a South Carolina fan watching tonight, you're like, oh, well, Georgia doesn't even have, they have 1 sack on the year. Wrong platform. Wrong platform. Okay. We don't got to get into it. Auburn and Sanford reinvented quarterback mechanics. It's just said, hey, I know everyone takes a 3-step drop out of the shotgun. We're taking 1.5-step drops all day. And as soon as you take that half step, you got to get the ball out because they coming, baby. They coming. So the game plan the last couple of weeks from opponents has been downset Hut, get the ball out. Downset Hut, get the ball out. Downset Hut, get the ball out. Well, Spencer Rattler in South Carolina's game plan through the first 2 weeks has been downset Hut, get the ball out. Downset Hut, get the ball out. Downset Hut, Spencer Rattler run around, try to make something happen, avoid 4 or 5 people, maybe fumble the football, and then chunk it 45 yards. Dangerous combination to play the University of Georgia. So that's kind of what I have learned on them from a preliminary advanced analytics scouting basis, right? Again, of the 76, I found the advanced analytics. We use them to confirm film, by the way. So we have the data now. We're going to go watch the tape. We've watched the tape. We're going to go back to the data. Like, that's what we do here. We compare them both. We're not going to smack you over the head with they run 46% of the time into the boundary. That's coach's job. Okay, that's 100% coach's job. We already told you their offense right now on paper looks like, hey, everything's either underneath or they're chunking it deep, right? So it's not really a great tool or combination, rather. All right, last kind of thing. Now, actually, we got a couple more segments, rather. I don't know if you guys saw, we kind of did some swooning over Sark on the timeline this week, and we went viral. Like 6,000 likes viral, like big, like viral, like almost half, a quarter, 300,000 views on Twitter, viral. Okay, Texas fans, appreciate you. If you're watching right now, holy hell, y'all flooded the follows, insane. But here's the whole reason we're talking about this, because it's very rare in my life. I don't know about you guys, but it's very rare in my life where I get the opportunity to witness how, like, very, very different portions of the population in this country interact to each other on social media, which that's what you are, right? Most of it, college football is a regional sport. You like Georgia because you're either from Georgia, someone from your family's from Georgia, someone imprinted the G on you, right? So same thing with everybody else everywhere. Oklahoma fans are most likely from that region of the country. They're not from Texas. Okay. If they are from Texas, they got family in Oklahoma, right? It's a regional sport. That's why it's great. It's why you love your team as much as you love your hometown, right? It's all the feels. Understand that. So every time we go viral, every time we get introduced to a new market, a new fan base, I get to learn so much about human behavior. And to me, that's fun. So, all things considered, I'm here to give you kind of just a brief synopsis of what I have learned from the variety of you guys that have found me. And I appreciate you. I really do. I love every single one of you. When you come through, Florida fans, we'll start with you, Florida fans. When you come through the Minchies and you want to talk about how fat I am, that's great. That's the only joke Florida fans had for like 2 years, because I was making fun of Dan Mullen and his unhemmed pants. Now he's unhemmed and you can't see him because they're behind the desk at SEC Network. Bingo. Good one, right? So, yeah, not cool, right? Also, Oklahoma fans, LOL alcoholism guy, you suck, right? You suck. If you're just out here laughing at a former coach's, not former coaches, a coach's problem, which is an issue, right? That's a you, dude. That's a you problem, right? You suck. LOL alcoholism guy, horrible. LOL 75 guy, you suck too. LOL 75 guy, when we're tweeting about offense, you suck. They score points, dude. All we're here talking about is the offensive genius of Steve Sarkisian. We don't have to hear about how they lost to Kansas. You suck. You suck, LOL 75 guy. I hate you. LOL Diamond Pistol was ran in 2015. Here's a clip of Tennessee doing it. That's freaking great. Find me the clip of Sarkisian doing it. That was the whole point of the breakdown. You missed it. All you guys suck. Sorry. Also, Florida fans, fat jokes. You guys suck. Oklahoma, anytime Texas arrives anywhere, does anything good, y'all show up with nothing but trash. Nothing but trash. I had someone talk about just dead into get him a drink. As soon as the tweet came out, how do you prepare for this? Get him a drink. Dead wrong, Oklahoma fan. Y'all bad. Y'all bad people. Tech fans, I ain't even gonna lie. Y'all just hiding. The internet, y'all create it, y'all run it. Ain't even gonna, you're just building things to build buildings nowadays at engineering school, right? They create machines and they create the internet. So they create the internet, they run it, but they dead silent on the internet, because why else would they talk? I ain't never seen a Tech fan on Twitter. That's okay. That's all right. Y'all just run Twitter. Y'all just make sure I go viral. Appreciate y'all. Texas, y'all just so damn happy to be back. It don't even matter. And y'all are back. I'm gonna let you know. Y'all matter because y'all gonna have quarterbacks. So y'all matter. Y'all wait. Quinn Ewers is gonna come back. He's gonna be healthy at some point. So it's a left shoulder. It's probably a broken clavicle. It'll be all right. Put a brace on him. Bama fans, I've learned about you a good bit too. One of you hung out in the family for a good while until you just trolled too much. Gave you a short leash, actually a really long leash there. But I've learned something about Bama fans, right? Bama fans probably didn't know football existed before 2009, and that's clear and obvious based off their terminology of football. Okay. You know, not really backdated. Okay. They're kind of new to this. And they're not new to winning. Obviously, they've been winning forever, but they're new to this, what is college football. I've learned that through going viral. I've also learned that most Alabama fans, I wouldn't say most, I would say a good portion of them, they are the people on Twitter that are prone for a good, at Bama football / at Duke basketball / at Kansas City Chiefs / at Warriors / at Yankees fan in the bio. Alabama fans are solid, almost guaranteed for that, or at least that person on social media is definitely a Bama fan. We've learned that about Bama through going viral. So just all you guys, Clemson. Hey, Clemson showed up last year. We did like a month of Clemson observations and takes. Clemson fans are like Canadians, dude. Clemson fans had nothing but nice things to say. Swear to God. Never once had beef with a Clemson fan. Never in my life. Awesome people. Y'all might have a different experience. They showed up with nothing but love on this platform. So shouts out to the Canadians of college football, a.k.a. the Clemson Tigers. Okay, I know y'all don't like Dabo, but that's a Dabo thing. The fans all right. The fans not bad. All right. What else did we learn this weekend after we just ripped through all the fan bases? Hey, I don't know if y'all noticed. Georgia's starting quarterback, y'all, he's averaging 32.5 attempts per game. Okay. 32.5 attempts per game. Now, I haven't been here forever. I know there's some people that you guys watch, read, enjoy that are great at what they do. They've been here forever. I'm new on this block, so I don't have a lot of history on this. But I know when I first started covering the University of Georgia in 2019, there was this stat roaming around, and I don't know the exact numbers of it, but there was a stat roaming around that Kirby / Jake Fromm was owing freaking a gazillion every time that joker threw for 30 times in a game. Okay, that was the rap. If you made Georgia chunk it, they would lose. And here we are. You're starting quarterback through 2 football games, blowouts, by the way, games in which he was out by the third quarter, by the way. That dude's thrown for 32.5 attempts per game. He's throwing it 65 times in 2 football games. Who is this? And what happened to Georgia? Y'all paying attention? They chunking it. So what's going on? What the hell's happening? First of all, I'll tell you this right now. They've heard enough of the Georgia doesn't throw the football stuff. They've heard enough. You can see it in Kirby's face every time he talks about we have a fun offense. He's like, holy hell, it's happening. It's happening. Year 3, it's happening, right? So they have earned this and moved to an offensive, like, not revolution, but Monken was brought in to do one thing: bring Georgia into modern, like, transferable concepts. Bama has gone through 2 OC or 1 OC, additional OC, Bill O'Brien. Granted, he's an NFL guy. Guess what? Georgia's got the budget. If Monken leaves, they'll just go hire another really, really good coordinator. Okay. So Monken was brought in just like Sarkisian was brought in at Alabama to teach the Bama way, to teach the Georgia way. Whatever the way is that Kirby and the offensive genius that is Todd Monken combined, that's the way. And whatever moving forward, they just revert back to the concepts, right? So all that being said, they are in year 3. But the most important thing to me of why are they letting Stetson Bennett and why is this offense chunking it with the starter, by the way, 32.5 times per game. More than that in the Oregon game, obviously, because Beck got a few rips at it. And I think he got a few rips at it against Samford, just not a bunch, obviously. But what does that mean? How does it happen? How do you go from Georgia can't win football games if they throw it 30 times to Georgia's throwing it 2.5 times in blowouts? They are now a passing football team. Well, I'll tell you, we found it. Dogs Daily. We found the stats. It's an easy as hell stat. We've already referenced it tonight. Not this particular one, but this category of statistic. Turnover worthy plays. What does Kirby Smart hate most? Putting his defense at risk, right? Putting his defense at risk. They don't want to give up points. They don't want to give up sudden change. They don't want to have turnovers in the red zone, right? They want to protect the football. And in games in which they're up, they want to take the air out of it, right? That was the former mold. Whereas now, hey, you got a quarterback who threw 65 attempts this year, has 0 turnover-worthy plays. What does that mean? Well, in the previous 3 years as a quarterback, from 2019 to 2021, Stetson Bennett had a turnover-worthy play 1 out of every 28 dropbacks. Every time he said down set hut and dropped back, he had a turnover-worthy play 1 out of every 28 times. He's gone 3 times that many reps without even putting the ball at risk. I would say one time he really put the ball at risk, and it turned out the Ladd McConkey touchdown, right? That was a risky football play. It was a risky football play, but it turned out well for Stetson in that moment. That's the difference, right? Kirby and well, I should say Stetson and Todd Monken have proven that we can throw it 32 and a half times per game, and we can still control time of possession, and we can still be physical. We just might be really, really physical on the perimeter, and that's okay. We just might not run it 45 times today against Kentucky when it's bright and sunny outside and it's noon and we're on a road and it's a COVID year, so there's no fans in the stands. So we can literally do whatever we want. Those things aren't happening anymore. That's what I think I've learned through 2 games. That was the most frustrating thing I've had with the analysis that we do here, right? And it's just from a football perspective. I said in 2020, and this is a long time ago, right? They have changed, and this is a great kind of like reference point of what the difference is in your football program offensively, right? In 2020, you have the Kentucky football game where you are banged up defensively. I understand that. But you go to Kentucky, and I think you run the ball 49 times, and you throw it like 15 times. You beat them. I think this final score was like 20-10. It was just a brutal, brutal football game to watch, right? Well, 2 weeks later, after a bye week, Stetson Bennett, a combination of Dwan Mathis and Stetson Bennett have to go down to Florida and score with that offense. Remember that offense? The high scoring offense, Kyle Trask offense. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Well, I know why. It's Kyle Trask. So, yeah, that whole offense, remember, you need to score points. And yeah, Ryan hits it right here. Nail on the head. You win that Kentucky game 14-3, just running the ball and sucking the air and the life out of that football game. It's like watching prehistoric football. I don't think those things happen moving forward at the University of Georgia. At least it doesn't look like it. I mean, you still chunked it around Saturday. You didn't execute. You still threw it around. By the end of the game, your quarterback has 30-plus attempts. Your starter. So, like, that to me is kind of like a milestone. Not necessarily a milestone, but it is what all you guys have been begging for. Y'all been begging for that for years. Now, it doesn't look like Sark, and it doesn't look like Liberty, and it doesn't look like Ole Miss. It looks like the LA Rams, and it looks like the San Francisco 49ers, and it looks like, all those really, really advanced tight end personnel type of heavy offenses in the NFL that are doing really, really efficient and explosive things. That's what I see on tape. And that's what I think they're moving toward. And that's what they're going to consistently recruit. That's what they're going to consistently do. Be explosive and efficient, not flashy. It's not what they are. They're not flashy. They're explosive and they are efficient. That's what I have learned. All right. I've also learned that I was dead wrong. Before we get to the callers, we do have a couple of them right now. Guys, I know you could just give me some video. I see we're going to Nathan first. I'm telling you right now, Nathan, get ready. And we didn't even tell you what we're doing. Just, hey, what have you learned this through the first 2 weeks? Well, that's what we'll do. Call me with your thoughts, your opinions. I got thoughts, opinions, and I've been giving them to you for way too long. Getting lightheaded at this point. All right. Thank you, Trey Robb. See, coachable, baby. Coachable. I see you back there. You know, you're smiling too. I see. We got you. Yeah, man, we're gonna get some audience members up in here. That's dope. Hit that like button while we're just freelancing here. Here's the deal. I was wrong. I'm not gonna say I was dead wrong. I ain't fading it yet. We're only 2 weeks in, so I ain't a coward. I'm just we're fading it. We're fading it a little bit. Man. All off season. Not all off season. About starting in August, I told myself prediction. I looked at it. I said I like it. I like what Alabama has done. Super team, I think was the terminology I used. Super team. Okay. I was asked for score predictions. State get asked for score predictions. Always. Season predictions. What do you think Georgia's going to do this year? All that good stuff. And I said 12-0, walk through the schedule, 18-point loss to Alabama in the SEC championship game. And everybody's like, oh, my God. Which now, looking at it, oh, my God, what were you thinking, dude? Well, here's what I was thinking. I mean, dude, Jermaine Burton, good football player. Jahmyr Gibbs, damn good football player. Tyler Harrell, great football player. Explosive as hell. Jameson Williams type football player. Okay? Not to that extent, but could be. 75% of, if healthy. Eli Ricks, that guy in 2020 when shit mattered at LSU before everything went haywire, a strap, an absolute strap. Am I supposed to just think he forgot how to play football? Apparently. Okay. Tyler Steen, the only good football player on Vandy's roster last year. Picked him, plucked him. Thank you. Plug and play. Starter at tackle. Okay. So, yeah, I thought Bama, super team, bro. I thought, like, look at what they did this offseason. Well, what they did this offseason through 2 games is 7 catches for 45 yards from Burton. It's 18 carries for 115 yards from Gibbs. It's ain't played Tyler Harrell. Didn't even practice this week, foot sprain, right? Eli Ricks, he did forget how to play football, apparently. He ain't even playing. Cole Wilcox been on this all like 2 weeks straight. People calling him a preseason All-American because he should be, but he ain't. He can't even get on the field, can't even sniff it. Okay. I think he's played a handful of snaps. Okay. And then this Tyler Steen guy, one of the worst graded offensive linemen in the SEC. So I'm telling you, I ain't totally giving up on Bama. They are still Bama. Okay. They will still figure it out when they need to figure it out, as they did in the fourth quarter. Still got Bryce Young. Will Anderson played like dog doo-doo on Saturday in the heat of the battle, right? I mean, just unconscious dumb stuff, which is totally out of the ordinary for him. So I'm not here to fade him yet, but I'm here to fade him. Okay. Here's what I've learned from this experience. One, they might be the Philadelphia Eagles. Remember the Philadelphia Eagles, the Nnamdi Asomugha Eagles, the Vince Young Eagles, I think they actually was the Vince Young Eagles, the Mike Vick Eagles. They might have been the Mike Vick Eagles, the Deshaun Jackson Eagles. Remember that Eagles team? Okay, everybody remembers that Eagles team. Well, they fall flat on their face. I think they were 7-9. Okay, everybody's talking about them being the super team. I ain't saying Bama going 7-9, but hey, you can also guarantee, as the Backstreet Boys told you previously, take that Bama first quarter because they're gonna blow the doors off of ULM Monroe. They're gonna be pissed off this weekend. But yeah, that's what I've learned. One, just because guys fill holes with a bunch of transfers, even at Bama, when they did it with Jamison Williams, and they've done it in past with other kind of like keynote players, though I'm drawing blanks right now. It's not just plug and play. And I should have known that. Also, when Georgia sits on their hands, guys, I think that's what we've also learned. When Georgia sits on their hands in the portal, that means they're damn good. That means Kirby Smart looks at his roster and goes, nah, baby, we straight. We good to go. And that's exactly what it was. They are good to go. I think they love what their roster looks like right now. I know y'all going to get mad at me for saying that. Dude, hella, like, not necessarily lucky, but hey, fingers crossed if you're watching at home, Georgia fans. They've been relatively healthy right now. Okay, I know it's God forbid, but it's going to be all Brooks' fault. Something happens. All right, we got the boys loaded up. Okay, we ain't got a bunch of them, but we're going to get to them. All right, we got 48 minutes. We got about 12 minutes left. If you want to holler at us, the link is in the Discord. Okay, it's as simple as, do you got an iPhone and do you have clothes on? Okay, that's the only 2 requirements. Do you have an iPhone and do you have clothes on? Okay, we have 2 guys right now that check that box. We're bringing on Nathan right now. Oh, and there comes Rob Dog. All right, Nathan's actually, so we're going to T-Rob first. T-Rob, no offense, Nathan. T-Rob, unmute yourself first before I add you in. T-Rob's been here literally since pre-show. So let's talk. T-Rob,
Hey,
what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man?
How are you? What have you learned through 2 weeks of college football?
Main thing I've learned is talking about the amount of passing that they're doing is that Kirby may not be as stubborn as I thought in changing the offense. He just wants to do it comfortably.
So you thought he was stubborn for a couple years?
Yeah. I'm one of the people who's been griping for years about, not being able to show up when you need to throw it 30, 40 times a game.
Hey, it's been, like I said, like we said in the show earlier. I mean, it's been bad, right? Not bad, but that was a common stat. Shouts out to the babies in the back. We got kiddos upstairs, so I get it total. No, they've been a football team in years past where they get to that 30 attempt threshold mark and everybody freaks out. You ain't got to tell them to hush. As a matter of fact, we'll get the hot takes from them. It's always been, hey, if Jake Fromm throws it 30 times, they're in trouble. Like, no, not anymore. If Stetson Bennett throws it 35 times, hell, that dude might throw for 350 and 3 scores with the threats and the weapons that he has. So, no doubt. Trey Rob, you got anything else for us?
I don't know. Just appreciate all the things you do. Found you about a year ago. Became an OG.
Yeah.
The kids want to be in on it.
How we doing?
But I appreciate everything you do. Bringing a lot. You make me sound smart in front of a lot of people. Other college people. I'm in the military, so I get all walks of life.
No, I
And
appreciate you.
the hate from what your comments earlier on Oklahoma versus Texas. My
Yeah.
boss is an OU fan. I didn't realize the hate. I guess I live in the SEC bubble, but he won't even say the word Texas. He just says that team down south.
Hey, it's the same way. I'm from a business standpoint, from an SEC standpoint. I think because it's not just OU and Texas, right? A&M's like little brother. They got to fight every time the two big brothers fight too. A&M now with the SEC. Every time those fan bases in Texas and Oklahoma pop up, dude, I had Texas A&M fans popping up. Even after losing to App State, they had the nerve and the gumption to show up in the comments after this weekend. So if they're showing up now, they're showing up forever. So, I think you hit the nail on the head. And your boss is kind of like angst towards Texas. That fits what this means, right? It does certainly mean more. Trey, I appreciate you, bro. I like this, man. I like getting to see you guys' faces. And I also love what he talked about, right? He talked about you make me feel smart. Bro, I can't tell you how many of my buddies that we're like friends now, right? We're like life friends outside of the internet. We're not just internet friends anymore. One of them, Jake, one of my good friends. He's up every morning, 5:30 in the gym. Okay. Freak. Every time he's down South Georgia. Okay. Not, believe it or not, despite how big my head is, not everybody knows or watches my content. So he'll just steal the takes, walk up in wherever he's walking in and just be the smartest guy in the room. That's okay. I sign off on that. That's what you pay for. Okay. If you want to come out and pay for the information and the video and the knowledge, then by all means, apply it. That's the whole point. All right, we're going to Nathan right now. Nathan, what's up, brother? Last call for the night. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good. What have you learned through the first 2 weeks of college football?
So this is what I've learned about Georgia, and I don't know if this is going to continue. I'd like your opinion on this. But Georgia's not afraid to rotate guys at O-line.
No.
I mean, it was like third possession against Oregon. We had new guys in there.
Mhm.
And Georgia's always rotated a ton of guys on defense, obviously. But O-line, that seems like a new one for them, at least that I've seen.
I will stop you. And under Sam Pittman, because they had such a wealth of really, really talented offensive linemen. Okay, we're talking the years of like Isaiah Wilson hanging around, right? Andrew Thomas, Solomon McKinley, I always go McKinley, Solomon McKinley, Trey Hill, all those guys except for Isaiah, who's now a SoundCloud rapper. All those guys are still playing on Sundays, right? And then you like that one, huh? All those guys are playing on Sundays now, right? And you had Cade Mays hanging around, and Jamari Sawyer hanging around, like right. So during those times, hell yeah, Georgia's going to play 7 or 8 offensive linemen. Keep them fresh. Keep them rotated. Got way too many talented football players not to. Ben Cleveland. Holy hell. How could I forget, right? Him still rotating around in there. So during those years of Pittman early on, you had a bunch of dudes that you could rotate. The last couple of years, your 5 were your 5, maybe 6, right? You might have had 6. Broderick's felt like a 6th for basically a year and a half now in the last 2 years. End of 20, and I would say 2021. You kind of felt like you had 6. Now you feel like you got 9 again. Right. And that's what they've played. They've played a full 9. And I'll probably forget one. Let's see if we can rattle it off. It's been late into the show. We've got lots of going on right here in the head. Let's see here. We got from left to right, Broderick, and then Truss, and then SVP, right? And then Tate, shout out 69. And then at right tackle, Warren McClendon. Okay. They're also flipping Amarius in at right tackle and McClendon back to left. And then the other unit coming in from left to right, left guard, they flip they put Willock in, right? And then flip Truss over to right guard, and they bring Warren Erickson in at center. It's an amalgamation of a whole bunch of shit. And then, by the way, when they go heavy, they bring Austin Blaschke off the field. So, hey, if you're a big fella and you think you are a Sunday guy at offensive line, Stacey Searle's going to play you. He's going to play you if that's what you want. You got anything else for me, Nathan? You've been hanging around a long time, brother. What you got?
No, I'm good.
Appreciate you, man. You know what I liked about Nathan's setup there? Super professional in his approach. Okay. You know, he was poised. He was poised right there. He was holding it out. Ryan Mell, my guy right here. I know we said Nathan was gonna be our last call. We're gonna hit Ryan Mell right here because he's a steady Discord lounge guy, and he's got good tempo and good timing. And I'm really putting a lot of pressure on him right here. So we're gonna see if he's hot. Ryan Mell, what's up, baby? Center for me.
So I said that we talked about it in the preseason that I was worried about the running back depth. It's been okay so far, but I think they're kind of managing it because it's been a not run as heavy offense. So that was one thing I wanted to say and kind of retouch on that subject. My camera
they're only taking about what? That's probably 65 to 68 snaps a game.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're really only getting about 30, 32 rushes a game. I think it's the split. Probably throwing at 37, running at 39, 32, taking a total of 69 snaps a game. Nice. Right? So I think those are kind of near the splits. They're throwing a little bit more than they are running it. So if there aren't a ton of ops, there aren't a ton of explosives, there aren't a ton of like major gains, and there's not going to be a ton of stats in the book, right? It would be different. In years past, I think it's been a catch-22 at Bama where they have fed one back, right? Like Najee Harris's years, they've had a good enough back where, and I'm not saying Georgia's not had a talented back as Najee, but go ahead. What's up?
Well, they've done that for a while now.
They
Najee
feed one?
Harris and
Brian
Robinson. It was Brian
well.
Robinson last year, and then they had it was kind of a 1A 1B when they had Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs in the same backfield.
And then they kind of found a 1B role for Kenyon Drake during his years with Derrick Henry. Like they've had these years where they've had a 1A and a 1B, and they've kind of balanced it. But most of the time, if they had an alpha, they rode him into not into the ground, but they rode him. Georgia will. I don't think Georgia will ever do that.
They had to ride Brian Robinson into the ground because they literally he was the only guy there.
No doubt. I mean, we'll see how the season progresses in terms of opportunity. I mean, but the stats they're not bad. I mean, they're all kind of eating, right? I mean, I think Kendall Milton's total over under on Prize Picks today, I looked up, was like 78.5 yards. So like that's just kind of a good temperament or temperature of what they kind of think or his averages are in Vegas. So if you're projected for 80 yards a game by the end of the year, you're a 1,000-yard rusher. That's money, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's good stuff. And you do it without having to take 20 carries a game. I think that's, to me, the most important thing. Go ahead, Ryan. Last thing. We gotta go.
Yeah, I know. What do you think Kenny McIntosh's total receiving yards are going to be by the end of the season? Because he's on pace for to be the leading receiver.
Like 1,100 yards. He's on pace for like 1,100 yards. 88 times 12. What is that? Or 88 times 13, whatever that is. He's on pace for a good bit of yardage. We kind of talked about it in the show today. I think he'll settle and he'll kind of hover around that 65 receiving yards per game moving forward. Because again, that's like 4 or 5 touches out of the backfield for him, essentially at this point in the year. He's averaging 12.5 yards per reception out of the backfield. So, yeah, that's 5 touches a game, and he's going to reach that 1,000 mark by the end of the year. Ryan, I appreciate you for being here, brother, and all you guys for joining us on tonight's show. I like seeing faces, man. I like seeing faces of guys and folks, I should say, guys and gals. We didn't have any gals tonight. I like to see faces of people that have been listening and engaging for a long, long time. So shouts out to you guys for joining us tonight. If you watched us tonight and enjoyed it and didn't hit that thumbs up button, feel free to do so now. If you enjoyed the show at all, if you kind of like what we're putting down, all these folks that jumped on right now, they are family members. They are Patreon family members. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. It's how your boy puts food on the table. So go shout out over there. We had a defensive film study last night with some really, really good educational moments for a young defense that's going to be great. And I mean great by the end of the year. So if you enjoyed it, we'll see you over there. We will also see you Sunday evening here on the channel. Other than that, we might do a Q&A maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Very indecisive. Y'all might pull my leg. We'll see you.